He is not appreciated. He is not appreciated. Drink the long draft, Dan, for the hip priest. I said, drink the long draft, Dan, for the hip priest. White collar hits motorway services. It's the hip priest. From the eyes he can see, they know. It's the hip priest.
Hang on. Remember a few weeks ago, I did the dub remix of the theme tune?
Yeah.
And I talked about I might do some more.
Yeah.
Well, I done one.
Okay. Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah.
Promise me that you'll never listen to anyone if they say you're just wasting your time here. Because
Thank you.
that was like literally, that was probably the best thing that you could ever do with your time.
Thank you very much. I enjoy doing it, and I want to say thank you to Rob for talking me through how to kind of chop it up in a way so I could synchronize it with beats and stuff. Thank you, Rob.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but I hate to scare people, but there's plenty more where that came from.
Oh yeah, you've brought us bang up to date, haven't you? To like 1998 now. The Jungle Massive.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier. If I had time, I was going to record a very distorted shout out vocal over the top.
Well, we've got time. We've always got time.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a work in progress. That.
Yeah, it will go on. Thank you very much for joining us for another episode of This Are Johnny Domino podcast, in which myself, Steve, and my brother Giles talk about songs that we have recorded. Mostly we talk about our own songs that we've recorded over 30 years ago, but increasingly we are talking about other people's music, which is great as well. If people send us some stuff, we will critique it and we'll celebrate their genius.
We will. Here we are. It's episode blah de blah
35. 35.
Of This Are Johnny Domino. Hoorah. There have been inquiries, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Inquiries about something I mentioned at the start of last episode. Some people are not satisfied with me talking about when I went to the Wollaton Park to the Hacienda event where I saw Ultranate in a massive hat. You remember?
Yes, I do remember.
In particular, they wanted to know more about the conversation I had with some women who I met who live on my street.
I was very interested to hear more about that, but it was not forthcoming.
Yeah, they said, why am I now avoiding them? And, you know, obviously, why didn't I need to go into it? And they want to know more. They want to know more. So I've written it down.
Excellent.
And it's a set of lyrics. You know, I've worked on this.
So I've got to write some music for it.
Well, talk about that afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, here we go. I was at Wollaton Park on a Saturday afternoon. I was surrounded by meatheads of all kinds. Very few people were dancing to the 90s house music at 4:30. The sort of people that I tolerated but didn't really get on with were Abound. And I still felt the same way about them. At 5 decades as 2. So I had to do something to relax. That's the chorus. So I had to do something to relax. I went to the toilet, and as I circulated back via a small marquee that was full of despicable people dancing, I was ambushed by 2 shortish middle-aged women who I vaguely recognised but could not quite place. So I had to do something to relax.
Uh-huh.
They recognised me and were noticeably pleased to see me. After a finitude of seconds, I recognised them as neighbours. So I had to do something to relax. Backing vocals kind of thing.
Okay.
We talked of children and life on our street, and they guessed my job after a number of guesses. It was a friendly exchange with a tinge of sexual tension. I bid them goodbye and danced away. But then I met them again later, and it went less well. That's it. That's the end.
It's interesting.
Good set of lyrics, right?
Not bad.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it going less well.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's as far as that song goes.
Okay.
If people want to know more, I'm afraid there's a deal.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to hear those lyrics in the form of a song.
Nice. I appreciate what you are doing.
And I need to hear it in the correct form of a song.
Okay.
So there you go. If you want to know what happened, if you want to know the course of events, and, you know, I'm not going to build it up. Nothing that dramatic happened, to be honest. I'm laughing at my own joke. This is really bad. But there you go. If you want to hear it, you need to record those lyrics as some kind of a song, and then maybe I'll tell you a bit more.
Is there a possibility that people could make up their own ending?
Hey, I'm not going to block anyone's creativity here, you know.
Well, we are all about the creativity, aren't we?
Yeah, there you go. So I'll put those lyrics out there, and you know, if you want to do something with it,
I like it.
There you go. It's an engagement opportunity.
All you of Earth are idiots. You just hold on, Buster.
Okay. Shall we get on with the order of business that we do on this podcast?
I think we probably should.
Yeah. The basic premise of the podcast is that we listen to a couple of songs that we recorded back in the day with a view to putting it on a compilation called The Best of This Are Johnny Domino. And that's what we're going to do. So the first song we're talking about today was not the first song recorded as Johnny Domino, but on the first batch of songs that were put forth into a very small circle of people. Mm-hmm. This was the first track. And it's a song called What Made You Want This?
So what year is this from?
We are talking 1993, the summer of 1993.
I can't even remember what the world was like in 1993.
I don't know, but we were younger. We were a lot younger.
I know, but what were we doing?
31 years ago. Well, I
didn't have a phone.
Well, I can tell you exactly what we were doing. Yes, we had no phones, but I can tell you exactly what we were doing. This was the summer where my friend Jock was recording a single by his band Peru on a 4-track that he borrowed. Because I knew how to work a 4-track, I said I would record it for him. And I also said I'd look after the 4-track for him. So we recorded the first batch of Johnny Domino songs in like a 4-week period when we were working on the Peru single. And we were all, well, myself, you, and I think your girlfriend of the time, Abigail, we were all working at the American Adventure, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
Working at the American Adventure theme park.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big things we were doing. We were both working at the American Adventure theme park and complaining about working at the American Adventure theme park and recording songs.
Yeah. And well, at least we had a bit of spare cash in our pockets.
Yes, because it probably paid really, really well.
You sound very negative about it. Anyway, we did some recording, and it was a bedroom recording. And I've listened to this song recently, actually, in preparation for this podcast.
Yeah,
because we do actually prepare for this podcast. There's two versions of this, and I don't know whether I'm going to disagree with you here, but the version 1, is quite lo-fi, and it's got someone really knocking the hell out of some bongos on there.
The This Are Johnny Domino podcast. It's got bongos.
And I don't know who we got to do those bongos, but they sound like a professional. And then the version 2, it sounds a little bit like Hootie and the Blowfish, but I really like it.
You like the Hootie version?
I like the Hootie and the Blowfish version. I do. I think I want to hear the Hootie version.
Well, can we have a bit
and
of
the Bongos version?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So which one do you want, Hootie or Bongo?
I want to hear them both.
Okay. Well, let's go for Bongo first. And I will
maybe not all of them,
but I will tell you one thing about the Bongo track. Yeah. It's not a bongo. It is a metallic bin that I used to have in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I think it's me playing it with my fingers. I'm not sort of like giving it the full hand thing. I'm probably doing it with my fingers and miking it up in a way so that it sounds like I'm really good at playing the bongos. Personally,
I think the bongos should be louder on this.
Well, alas, it is not possible to remix.
I want. Imagine this track, but with like way louder bongos, like kind of avant-garde level bongos.
So this is the bongo version of What Made You Want This?
I see you made it. Do you think that we could make it? Do you made a million? I made a worn out carpet, a big step forward. When you loaded your first gun. Are we tripping on our love? Are we speeding on our hate? Whatever made you want this, we are united by t-shirt. You are entertainer to the masses. Whatever made you want this. I see you made it now. You're pulling money from a rabbit.
It's kind of a bit of a hippie campfire version.
It is quite a hippie campfire. Do you know what I mean about the bongos, though? That's a pretty good bongo performance.
It's not.
Bin performance.
It's a bin performance, and as I say, I'm probably just tapping. But
it's got the rhythm, though, Steve. It's got the rhythm.
It's the magic of the studio workshop.
Would you say that you've got a good sense of rhythm?
Well, sorry, that's really confusing because you stopped in the middle of saying, would you say you've got a good sense of rhythm?
Yeah, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a few technical problems today, just so you're aware.
That's all right.
I must have been all right because I did the acoustic guitar track and then was able to play along with it. And you're playing the plastic maracas, I think, in the background.
Yeah.
But that was Jock's guitar. I didn't have an acoustic guitar at that point.
Yeah.
So it's Jock's guitar and his tuning pipes.
Oh,
I'm blowing on Jock's tuning pipes during the final verse. So have a little fun with that image. I quite like it. So do you want to hear a bit of Hootie?
I prefer the Hootie version.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Which one do you prefer?
I prefer Lo-Fi Bongo.
Okay, let's go.
I can't afford to buy food, but I can afford a lifestyle. Bought off all my problems. My life is a piece of cake. Problems are the one thing I can make. You made it now. Do you think that we could make it too? You made $1 million. I made a worn out carpet. Big step forward was when you loaded your first gun. Whatever made you want this, we are united by t-shirt. You are entertainer to the masses. Whatever made you want this.
I think that's just way too pro sound.
Hootie.
I don't think it's Hootie. I don't think it's Hootie.
Maybe Spin Doctors.
It is a bit Spin Doctors. I was thinking it's a bit. Remember Extreme and More Than Words? I can imagine them playing that song with their lovely smooth long hair, looking at each other and sort of like emoting. And I also think it's a little bit Ocean Colour Scene.
I think that's why I like it.
It's a bit Billy Ocean Colour Scene.
Oh, well, maybe I'm headed for that sort of nostalgia. I don't know, but I like it. I think it's all right, and I find that easier to listen to than the bongo one. The bongo one, I'm just admiring the bongo bin playing.
Yeah.
But on that one, I don't know. Maybe I just need some dad rock in my life, and that's what's working. In terms of lyrics, there's some classic Johnny Domino lyrics there, I feel. Cool. I think when I'm talking about loaded your first gun, I think it's a metaphorical gun, I imagine. The line, you made $1 million, I made a worn out carpet, is a classic Johnny Domino sentiment, I believe. And the united by a t-shirt bit is kind of like, hey, look at me. I'm commenting on the self-perpetuating system of the entertainment business right there.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Did you like that one? Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it. As I said, I prefer the Bongo Fury version.
Yeah.
I don't know why we recorded it. And it's all a little bit smooth, the second one.
But I don't know, but sometimes is that not good?
And the little fiddly little guitar bit at the end just winds me up as well.
There's some nice guitar playing. The jingly jangly.
Ooh, I don't know who it is. I don't know who that person was that played that guitar part. You know what I mean? Sometimes you listen to songs and you think, I don't know who the person was who wrote those words.
Yeah.
I've got no idea who the person was who played that little. Yes. Anyway.
The bongo one, I'm doing a bit of an American twang on the voice as well.
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought you've sang with more affected vocals.
What I have done in the past.
You have done, yes, I think so, yeah. So
okay.
I didn't hate it.
Are we going to have to agree to disagree on that?
We'll come back to it, shall we?
I think we'll maybe come back to that. But I think it's a potential best of song. Definitely. I think it's all right.
We've just got to argue the toss about which version's better.
I think we are going to have an arm wrestling competition.
Okay.
We sound quite chilled out today, I think. It's a bit of a miserable day outside.
It's dreadful. The weather's awful.
It's chucking it down. It's like grim, innit? Grim.
No.
I'm just looking out the window and just seeing water just pouring down.
Yeah. Well, I've purposefully not opened my curtains, so I'm just not even engaging with it. Yeah. I'm trying to keep the vibes up.
Well, I'm up.
Yeah,
but I'm just like,
me too.
But I'm just like, I'm feeling quite relaxed. Maybe people could listen to this podcast and it could be like kind of a more relaxing thing. Rather than kind of like maybe some of our podcasts like are there to sort of like hype people up. This one's more of a relaxing one.
I think it's a mindfulness episode. We could do some breathing exercises and centering, and
here we go.
Do a self-love incantation.
Next song we're going to listen to.
Where are we going next? We're going to go to a song that's been sent in by our friend Simon G Richardson. Lovely Simon.
G stands for gate mouth. And he's been stuck in bed for a couple of weeks with a back injury. And he's been having time to catch up with things and think about stuff. And he dragged himself into the kitchen with his guitar to record a song, which he describes in his email to me as a nostalgic whinge about the end of a relationship being like the last days of summer when you're a kid, and how childlike innocence is lost along the way. And then he says, but you just get a grip and remember how to be free, etc. ... So here he is.
That's really nice.
There you go.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for sending it.
That was a song that Simon's working up for his band Tidmouth Sheds, up there in Glasgow. And I really liked it, actually. I really liked that rough recording.
Yeah, me too. Is it like a childhood-themed song? Is it a submission for our current engagement opportunity?
It is. It's kind of on a tangent to it, definitely.
Yeah, I got that. No, it's really nice.
It has got a slight childhood theme, and it's that sort of sense of sadness, really, I get from it. And as stuff kind of drifts away from you in life, you know? But I think I like the chords, and I think ultimately, with the music and everything, you sort of find a note of hopefulness in that tune.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. I mean, he's got a slight tinge of, maybe this is just in my head, but a slight hint of the end of the summer holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, there's little snatches of the lyrics. It's like the end of the summer holidays, and you've got to get back into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and quite appropriate for this time of year, actually, Steve.
Absolutely.
It's that, the you're moving on.
Yeah.
But cool. It's like, it's not all down. It's not all doom and gloom. You know what I mean? You're good to go. You're good. That's the title of the song. You're good to go.
Yeah.
You just got to get on with it.
Yeah. That's wicked.
And I really like that. I like that. You just got to get on with it. That's the sentiment that we need at this time of year.
I agree. Thank you very much for sending that in, Simon. Much appreciated. If anybody else is wondering what the hell we're talking about, our current engagement, well, apart from the writing music for the lyrics that my brother wrote earlier.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. The other engagement opportunity is for songs inspired or referencing childhood. And I think Simon's is part of that. So thank you very much. Yeah, but if you have a song which is from your childhood or about your childhood or in some way, look, we can make anything work. Just send us some stuff. That'd be great. And we'll fit it in somehow.
Can we listen to That Summer Feeling by Jonathan Richman off the amazing Jonathan album?
Yeah, but the thing is, that is a reference that we make pretty much on.
Do I mention that album too many times?
There are other Jonathan Richman albums. There are other versions of that song.
Okay. Right.
I like the one from, I can't even remember what it's called. Jonathan Sings, I think it's called, where he's topless on the front cover. It's a drawing of him topless. And the Modern Lovers are some pro session musicians, or certainly the backing vocalists are pro session musicians.
Oh, okay.
And that version's particularly good.
That sounds good. I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Check out Simon's band, Tidmouth Shads. There's some stuff on the link on the show notes.
Yeah. A little tangent here. Just to say, with regards to the previously mentioned engagement opportunity, we are in the process of recording our own submission. However, here's a little thing for you. Remember a couple of episodes ago, we were talking about superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
And we said, who did we say was the best superhero? We said it was Batman. Yeah?
Yeah.
And Batman is obviously a TV program, has got an amazing theme tune written by Neil Hefti.
Oh, okay.
Arranged by Nelson Riddle, featuring on the drums Hal Blaine from The Wrecking Crew.
Right.
It's a great theme tune.
It is.
And it kind of got me thinking about it a little bit. And it also made me think about Slint.
Why?
Slint, Louisville, Kentucky, wunderkins of the post-rock scene. Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with this.
Go on.
Okay, so obviously, for people who don't know, Slint recorded 2 albums and 1 EP in their short lifespan. Tweez, then an unnamed EP, and then Spiderland, which is an absolute top 10 album for me. I just think it's an incredible album. And you know how much I love a 33 1/3 book.
You do.
I do love a 33 1/3 book.
You do.
And the recording of Spiderland was obviously quite traumatic. They split up as a band before the album came out. And they obviously weren't intending to split up at the time. And there's loads of stories about why they split up. We're talking about kind of psychotic events and nervous breakdowns. And in the 33 1/3 book, there's a different version. And in that version, it talks about the fact that you've got to remember that Slint were incredibly young. And as a band, despite the seriousness of their music, they were pretty immature. If you've seen the film Breadcrumb Trail, you'll know that they rehearsed in the basement of one of their houses. And there's a story in the 33 1/3 book about one of their rehearsals where Brian McMahon, the vocalist, was sitting there while Todd Brashear, Britt Walford, and Dave Pajo were just playing the Batman theme tune.
Okay.
And they kept faffing around with it and leaping to different intervals and just having a real laugh and thinking they're hilarious. And it went on so long that Brian McMahon went upstairs. He thought, I've had enough of this. He went upstairs and he listened to the entirety of On the Beach by Neil Young. side 1, side 2, which is about a 50-minute long album.
Yeah.
When he came back downstairs, they were still doing it. And it was at that point, according to 33 in the third book, it was at that point that he decided to leave the band.
Okay.
Which I just think is such a brilliant story. And it got me thinking, are you taking such an amazing piece of work as the Batman theme tune?
Yeah.
How could you do it in a way that would make somebody want to leave a band?
Don stepped outside.
Oh, all right.
I'd never let anybody tell you that you wasted your time doing this stuff. Never.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about laughing at our own jokes. So I quite enjoyed that.
It was not objectionable in any way. I wouldn't leave the band.
You'd want to join that band.
I'd join that band, please.
Yeah, I think you would.
Thanks. I enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
I wasn't sure about the Johnny Domino podcast, but I gave it a chance, and now I think I love it.
Right. So the next song we are talking about is a song from the third proper Johnny Domino album.
Time to relax.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It's
get into a relaxed vibe.
A relaxed vibe, yes. This is a song, it's an instrumental song called King of Caravans. And it's quite mellow. It's quite chilled out.
It's mellow.
Shall we just go straight into it?
Yeah, well, King of Caravans. If I could be a king of anything, I think I would like to be a king of caravans.
King of Caravans.
Have a think about that while this is playing. What would you like to be king of if you could be king of anything?
Namaste.
You know what's good about podcasts
Yeah.
is that you could be very niche, right?
Yeah.
And we're quite guilty of that on this podcast.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to talk about something that is very specific, and it's specific to a place and it's specific to a time.
Mm.
But I still think people might quite enjoy it if they have no freaking clue what we're talking about.
Well, let's just see.
But basically, when we were growing up in the East Midlands of England, the UK,
Yeah.
in the 1980s, I think,
Yeah.
there was an advert that was on Central TV.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it was not a national advert.
Don't think so.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Okay. Okay.
People from outside the area have literally no idea what we're talking about. And the advert was for Don Amott, who was a caravan seller.
Motorhomes and caravans.
Yeah, Don Amott was a self-proclaimed king of caravans, and he had a very memorable jingle.
Wrong one.
That's not.
No,
that's
oh
not
God!
it, no.
Imagine if it was. Sorry, wrong clip.
First for value, first for choice. That's Don Amott for new and used tourers, motorhomes and static caravans with the best selection of sites just off the A38 between Derby and Burton. Don Amott, king of caravans, the price is right and the choice is yours.
And what you have to realise is that little musical motif really stuck in your head.
I mean, that was like probably about 20, over 20 years after first hearing that advert. We made the reference in a Johnny Domino rehearsal.
Yeah.
And we titled a song King of Caravans. Weirdly, he was talking about between Burton and Derby off the A38. In my mind, it was in Spondon.
No.
So off the A52.
No, it definitely wasn't. It's definitely off the A38.
Wow. Well, the advert said so.
In Hilton, between Derby and Burton.
Wow. I think he's still going though, isn't he?
He is. Well, apparently he is. I don't know. I'm not early in the market for a caravan, but I do like his adverts very much. There's quite a few on YouTube. There's a particular one that I like where it's quite a high concept advert.
Okay.
It's a man called Spike, who the narrator of the advert is talking to. And Spike appears to be trying to escape from prison. And the confusing message of the advert is that Don Amott is selling caravans to people who are on the run from the police.
Dear Spike, heard about Don Amott's big cover-up? There's 40,000 square feet of undercover displays, touring, motorised and holiday caravans, awnings, accessories, trailer, tents, camping equipment, everything for the great outdoors. See you at Caracamp 82.
It's got that really cockney criminal accent, you see.
He's a geezer.
He's a geezer, and he's got his file out of a cake, and he's going to go down Don Amott's and get a caravan.
Well, as we were waffling on about this man, Don Amott is now called Don Amott Leisure Kingdom. Okay, motorhomes, campervans, caravans. Weirdly, the image that I'm looking at on the website is a lady in kind of a yoga pose with like an index finger and a thumb making an O with the three fingers splayed outside. She's got her eyes closed and she's surrounded kind of by waves of chilled outness. And,
there you go.
And there are 4 thought bubbles above her head. Mm. And one of them says motorhomes. The other one is campervans, caravans. And the last one is show me everything.
Nice. There you go. And do you know what, though? Our more mindful musical excursion into the King of Caravans might work quite well as an up-to-date version of Don Amott's theme. So maybe we should send it to him.
Why not? Why not?
You know, it's called King of Caravans. What would you like to be king of anyway?
What would I like to be king of? I don't know whether it's wishful thinking or carrot flower. I'm not sure.
Yeah. The Road, I think. The Road, maybe?
Yeah, The Road. King. There's loads of King songs, isn't there? You see, it's another one that I should have prepared.
I like the idea of being the king of caravans or the king of the road, because then you're not tied down to one specific location.
King of the Road is obviously our father's favourite karaoke song, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
King of America, King of Spain, King of the World, King of You, King of the Beat. Sorry, I've just put King of Sex is a Killdozer song. I'm not sure about that. King of Dust by the Hanson Family. That's a good one. Yeah, I've got a few King songs. There you go.
Yeah, okay. There's something to think about.
Absolutely.
Speaking of being on the road and the king of the road, I was on the road to Manchester last week.
Yes.
Because I had to see the eldest son settle into university accommodation.
Wow.
And he seems all right.
Yeah.
He seems good. I think he's having the life of indeed Riley. And on the way back from driving there to Manchester, I came back through Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah. And got some wistful feelings on the drive back.
I'm sure you did.
Just a wink of an eye. He was a babe in my arms. You know, a babe in my arms.
Oh.
And I thought back to that gig that we played 2 days after he was born. And was it 2 days after he was born? I don't know. It might have been the day after he was born.
I think it might have been the flipping day. Hang on, bear with me a second. I've got the dates.
Anyway, we played a gig at the well-known gig venue and corridor to a pub toilet called the Vic Inn in Derby to about 15 people. But he actually recorded it, didn't he, Steve? And I believe I mentioned my boy.
Thank you for bearing with us this evening. It's very pleasant.
If only I was a robot child, then I would remember my words.
Hey!
Probably not.
And in about 16 years' time, you'll probably be a new member of the band. My little boy.
My little boy.
My little boy. My son. Reach it out. We're going to do a version of Father and Son now. In tribute to my boy.
It was the 10th of December. So yeah, it was
It was the day after he was born.
The day after your firstborn child was birthed. You think, tell you what, I'm going to go and do it. I mean, why did we even arrange a gig around that time?
He came early.
Okay, so it's his fault.
And in my defence, it was discussed. It wasn't just, I am going to do the gig kind of thing. And his mother was actually still in hospital. So I wasn't, leaving them at home, right?
That doesn't make it any better, Giles. Your partner was in hospital.
She was in hospital, but she wasn't ill. Oh, my God. Okay, all right. Look, I'm a much better person than I was.
Yeah.
Put it like that.
Yeah. Well,
we all grow.
Yeah, and it was a gig that we played with 3 other bands: the Atoms, Halfwit, and our aforementioned good friends, the people of Lard Pony. And yes, the album is recorded. It was actually recorded by the Jeff Bot 3000, which is why the drums are so pokey on it, because I think he had the mini disc recorder next to himself. Yeah. But you know what? It comes out all right. It's quite punchy. But if you looking at that lineup, there are 4 bands in total. Okay, so there are at least 16 going on 20 people in that room, and you can kind of count the hands clapping during our set. So it was a pokey little gig that we did. And I've mentioned before, a couple of weeks after that, we did a gig in a packed out pub in Derby called the Blessington Carriage, beloved of students, 2 days before Christmas. And it was absolutely jam-packed.
Yeah, the baby was home at that point.
Yeah, but why didn't we record that gig? That's my point. I mean, whether you're allowed to do a gig with a 3-week-old child, but why didn't we record that one? Because it would have made us sound so much more popular than...
I don't know. Maybe I should have been at home painting the nursery. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there is that. With that, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. if you are enjoying the This Are Johnny... I'm so glad this is back. Go on.
You know how I sort of said, you've got quite a good sense of rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favourite song to dance to? Come on.
Oh,
what's your favourite song to dance to?
You see, I'm not so much of a dancer. I'll nod my head.
Well, in your head then.
Okay. Well, one of the funkiest songs ever, it makes me nod my head in a ridiculous way, is The Root by D'Angelo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because it's got what I believe the children would say, a sick beat. I remember, again, going back to a 33 and a third. I'm pretty sure Questlove, he drums on this song. He's both before and after the beat. Mm-hmm. And Questlove was like, people are going to think I'm not very good at drumming because I'm all over the place. It's, as I say, it's a sick beat.
Nice.
But speaking of sick beats, I also like Shake It Off.
Oh, that's good.
By Tay-Tay.
Wow.
What's your favourite?
My favourite current song, I suppose, not current, it's kind of quite old now, is Man Don't Care by JME. There you go. That's the benefit of living with some young fellas in the house.
Well, I don't know that one.
But I sort of started thinking about what would be my favourite song to dance to which doesn't have any drums. Because drums are kind of important, right? But I think my favourite song to dance to which actually doesn't have any drums in it is Boogie Chillin' by John Lee Hooker.
Ooh.
And no better account of rebellious youth has there ever been. His mum doesn't want to allow him to stay out all night long, but he doesn't care. He goes to town and he goes down Hastings Street and he hears people talking about this club called the Henry Swing Club, and he decides to drop in. And when he gets there, he says, yes, people. They're having a great time. They're having a ball. And then when he's lying in bed later, he hears his dad tell his mum that boy needs to boogie woogie and it's in him and he's got to come out. And he feels good because his dad recognises that within him. I love that. But all the time, he's just hitting that guitar.
Yeah.
And it just makes me want to dance.
Fair enough. If the rhythm is in you,
you've got to let it out, man. You've got to let that boy boogie woogie. It's in him.
Yeah.
And it's got to come out.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for listening to the Johnny Domino podcast. If you're enjoying it, please like, subscribe wherever you are listening right now, and tell your friends.
Tell your family.
Tell your friends. Tell your family.
Tell your pets.
Please do like and subscribe to our podcast and recommend it to someone who you think might like listening to all this kind of weird shit. Send us some of your old music and enter the eternal halls of the 4-track gods.